How's it going, everybody? This is Ray with budgetshooting.com. Today, finally out with this thing out here in the desert. Gonna go ahead and shoot it, do a couple groups, see how it does now that it's in the Bravo chassis and basically complete the way I had wanted it when I built it. Just out today to see how it does, have a little bit of fun. I haven't shot 22 in a long time, actually. I'm gonna throw the XRT can on there before we get shooting, but that's all we're out here doing today. Target set up at about 50 yards. Just gonna shoot for some groups there. It's about all of the range that I have out here today currently. Not in my normal long range spot, so I don't really have much more than that with a good backstop. So just gonna do some 50-yard group testing today, see how this thing does. I just brought out a Gia, they're like standard velocity ammo. I didn't bring anything out that was fancy. I don't have any CCI SVs in. I do have some Ely target and club, but I didn't want to bring those out today to do an ammo comparison. I just want to get this thing broken in a little bit with everything and shoot that Gia, because I know it shot pretty well out of this in the old chassis, so I kind of want to compare and see how it does in this one. But we'll see how it does with that. If it's looking good and nothing needs to be tweaked on this, I'll probably bring it back out and do some group testing with a bunch of different ammos and see what this thing likes. But yeah, let's get to it. All right, so the first group I'm gonna do is gonna be without the can, just because I'd like to compare how it does with it versus without. So there's a giant valley between me and my target. I'm gonna shoot a few groups with this thing, and then I'll bring the camera over there a little bit later to see how the groups look. I'll kind of explain them when I'm over there, which ones were which, as long as I can keep track of them. Might help if I grab a mag. There we go. Never had that happen before. Should have figured this wouldn't be zeroed. Alrighty, let's see where this is at now. I'm hoping there's a cactus needle in your leg either. Alright, basically got it zeroed now, so let's give it another test. This magazine does not like something about this setup. What are we getting hung up on? There's a void in the magazine well between the bottom of the chassis and the bottom of the action. I think it's getting hung up there. Weird. One or two flyers in each of them. Pulled a couple. I am definitely out of practice. Not a lot of precision shooting over the last 2 years, so that doesn't help. We get another mag loaded and I'll throw the can on and we'll see if that changes anything. Alright, can is on. Let's do a couple more. I think the groups actually look slightly better with the can on. Yeah. I'll take the camera over there. We'll check out those first 4 groups that I shot. See how they look. Alrighty, so that was my sighting group when that was point of aim, so I knew the zero was off. And I should have known that. When you change a bunch of things on a setup, it's going to change a zero. And it's pretty bad for a 50-yard group. A lot of that is me, I'm sure. I could really use a rear bag. The back of that thing was floating all over the place, I realized. I didn't bring my rear bag out with me. Yeah, anyway, that was the first group I shot. After we got all re-zeroed and everything, and that's the next one. Really not great. And then we have number 3 here. I mean, these are all at this distance, like 2 or 3 MOA. So, not looking too good. I need more practice. I'm sure the gun could use some tuning and finding a load, like I was saying, that works. But we'll get there. It's been over 2 years now since I've done any precision rifle shooting. So, those were without the can. Here's what I shot with the can on. Tightened it up. We're probably a little under 2 MOA on that one. I'll measure it in a little bit and throw up some screenshots of what they look like. Measure it out with the app. And then that was the last group we just shot. A lot of this is vertical stringing, so could have a lot to do with ammo, but there is some horizontal spread also, so I am pulling a few of them. I'm gonna have to see if I have anything in the car and see if I can use it as a rear bag. But yeah, not bad overall. I mean, I clearly need some work, but that's where we were at, way over there. I say way as if this is a far distance. It's really not. I think it's just over 50 yards from where I was shooting, but yeah, I'll go back over there. We'll load a few more up, shoot another couple groups, see if we can make them get any better, and if not, we'll just come out next time and try a couple different ammos. So apparently I'm an idiot, and I didn't clear enough space off of the card before I started shooting, so I just missed an entire clip of me shooting it on this thing. But anyway, I brought 15 round mags today, so I loaded up 5 rounds in this. I'm going to see if it's any easier to insert in the chassis compared to the 10 round magazine, which I have to fiddle around up in there to get it in anyway, and I think they're catching on this lip inside the chassis, between the bottom of the chassis and the action. But I did shoot a couple groups on this thing. There were a lot of flyers, and I wanted to point out again, now that I'm able to record again, I need to invest in a better ball head, which it's good to come out and shoot stuff like this just randomly to see what you need to tweak with your setup. I don't know if this is translating on video. Any little bit of motion that I put into that is moving the whole base of the ball head. It's not even anything else, it's just this little tiny contact area between the arca plate and the ball that's causing this little bit of movement. So all of that translates into sight picture and trying to maintain a point of aim on a specific target. So that's one thing I need to work on, and I need to work on bettering my setup with. And the other thing I wanted to point out is when I was shooting from prone, I did notice that the scope rings on this thing, after changing everything, the whole setup and stock and everything, are too low. The cheek piece on this KRG is a little bit taller than the other stocks that I've had this thing in, and so these are super low rings, just under an inch in height. I think they're 0.93, and they're just too low for this setup now, so I need to invest in a slightly higher ring set so I can get a better sight picture when I'm on this thing in prone. I've really got to push my cheek down into this cheek weld, which is already all the way down, to get a good sight picture, and especially because I'd like to run a cheek pad on this thing. So it's just going to help if I bump that up a little bit. So we'll tackle those, and we'll take this thing out again, shoot it with some different ammos next time, and see if I can find something that the gun likes a little bit better than that Agia stuff. And also, This 15 round mag is from my Ruger Precision Rimfire, so if it works in this, I'll invest in a couple more, but also I'm going to bring that thing out one of these days as soon as I find an ammo that this likes, and we'll shoot them back to back and see how they compare. This thing's like 3 times the cost of that thing, but semi-auto, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of difference there because of that. And then also, this is basically an open class gun in NRL 22 or whatever their higher class is for modified stuff. The Ruger Precision Rimfire that I have is all stock, so it's a base or production class. So it'll be interesting to see how those compare. But anyway, let's do another group with this, and we'll see how the magazine does as well. It still is finicky. So if you can't this thing at all when you're going up in there, it just gets caught in that ledge. So you really got to make sure it's straight. But if you do, that works out. Alrighty, let's do another group. See how I can do with this thing now. See if I can find a good point of aim where there's not a bunch of other holes on this thing. Just shoot at the trap. You know what? Let me try adjusting this setup a little bit. If I can get this thing loaded, that might be a little bit better. Let me get a better stance. Alrighty, see how it does. Man, I pulled 2 of those, but they were stacking almost on top of each other before that. The ammo is definitely stringing a little bit too. There was a lot of vertical variation there. Very little horizontal from me going back and forth on this thing. But yeah, other than that, I really like the ergos on this thing. As soon as I get that scope height changed a little bit, we'll bring it back out, see what kind of ammo it likes. It did shoot better in the old chassis with the Agia ammo, so that's why if you have a 22, since they're so finicky on ammo and it's not really something you can hand load for, I know Cutting Edge makes that little kit where you can hand load for them, but there's not a lot of load development you can do because there's so few options for that, and it's 22. It's not the easiest to reload or practical. If you can just get a bunch of different lots of ammo, shoot your gun with all of them with a ample cooldown time and cleaning and everything between them, then you can really see what the gun likes and just stick with that ammo. And then there's people that obviously get into it even more. You can segregate all your ammo by lot number and things like that and see how they compare lot to lot. You can measure case head or rim thickness on these, and a lot of people will separate all their ammo that has the same rim thickness, and there's a lot of things people are doing with these to squeeze every little bit of ammo out of them. So I don't know if I'm going to go to that extent, but we will try a couple different ammos and see if we can squeeze any more out of this, because those groups are pretty big for 50-yard groups. So I need to work on my setup. Clearly, it's been a couple of years, like I said, so I just need to get back out here and practice more with precision stuff, and then we'll go from there. If you guys like this type of content, check out my other videos. There's a lot of stuff on the Form 1 suppressors, and then I'll get in more to the precision rifle stuff, shooting and stuff like that, I guess, in the future. Because of all the stuff going on with Form 1, that's probably going to slow down a little bit, and I don't really want to become a review channel, so kind of tired of trying to keep up with products and doing reviews on them and stuff. So we'll do a hybrid of everything. I'm just going to post stuff that I like doing, and that happens to be shooting right now and not doing builds. So thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, throw a like on it. If you feel like you want to subscribe because you like this type of content, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, thank you for watching.